Doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and three toes. I will beat your ass.
We some lions, don't let the boys get loose. About to play with our food any day that we choose. We some lions, got them all listening. Time to make history, I want a victory. Lions, don't let the boys get loose. About to play with our food any day that we choose. We some lions, got them all listening. Time to make history, I want a victory. Lions, don't let them boys get loose. It's a new day, Honolulu Blue got the boys on a crusade. Campbell throwing dukes, got golf at the Wings game. Hear his name, replay and replay and replay. Got him off the leash every Sunday. David Montgomery, Gibbs on the runway. Take a shot at Jameson and stumble out the hallway. Running in the hutch any day, that's a bad day. They don't wanna bring us up, keep us off the airways. America's team, sick of dealing with these cowboys. Keep it in your hostess.
The band is back. Welcome back to the One Ass Cheek and Three Toes show. I am your host, Nate Castro, and my other two toes are...
Beastrilla.
And Jeremy with a puzzled face. Or is he frozen? Jay, you there?
No, he's there.
What the hell?
Jay, we're alive.
What?
It's like slow-mo, bro.
You might need to log out and log back in if you have to.
Yeah, I'm
Alright,
good over
for
here.
Yeah, log right back in. He'll be back. So what's up, B? It's been a minute, man. Hopefully everything's well with your family and all that. Jay, I met Jay last week. Man, I'll say this. Jay is a tall dude. When you don't meet somebody, you never know what they look like because we're doing this all virtually. So, I could be 7 foot. You could be 6'5". Who knows? But Jay is a big dude. Like, you could tell he played football. Like, he's this massive man.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. I was in Detroit last weekend, watched my Lions whoop up on those woolly Titans. It was amazing, great atmosphere. I tell you what, man, if you haven't been to a Ford Field game, go. Like, this is a different atmosphere than in the past. In the past, they would get loud, but it was never to the point of like, oh my God, we're going to tear this building apart. Like, it's an amazing atmosphere. It's so loud. The fan base is so passionate. Like, Jared Goff chants were going everywhere. It's an amazing feeling, man. I was so happy to be there. And just every year, man, I get hyped up for those moments, man. Like, but yeah, no, it was good. How was your past weekend, man? What'd you do?
When I was up with my pops, and
is he doing better?
He's doing a little bit better.
Great.
We were watching a football game in his room at the hospital.
Nice.
So my dad's real calm. It don't make a difference if they're winning, losing, or whatever the case it is. He don't have because I'm thinking, dude, you're in a hospital. Don't be going, because you're already having problems with your heart here. Let's not be. But he's not like that. So
we know Lion fans, we can get those heart rates up a lot of times.
Yeah. But I've gotten to that point myself in my old age. So I don't even I don't bat an eye if the Lions do something great. It's awesome. They do something bad, well, it happens. So
yeah, it's kind of like with this with it's kind of like with the success of the Lions, you got to take the good with the bad. Like, there's going to be times where we're going to look really, really good, and there's going to be times we look like absolute dog shit. Mm-hmm. The main thing is that you don't want to look like dog shit every game. Like, that's not a winning football. You can struggle at times, but you have to bounce back. And that's one thing this Lions team, I know very much so, knows how to do, is even if we lose today, we're going to bounce back in a good way, because we've shown the proof is in the pudding over and over again with this team. Like, this team is destined to go to the Super Bowl, or at least be right there near the Super Bowl. And so, yeah, I'm with you, man. I think as Lion fans, we can get a little perturbed by the way things go because of the mindset that some of us have. And it's more so because of the past. If the Lions were a more successful team like the Chiefs have been for a minute, then I don't think Lion fans would be as perturbed or as bothered. Because I guarantee you, if the Lions come out and lay an egg or play like shit today, they're going to be calling for Dan Campbell. They're going to be calling for whatever, AG is going to be wanting to be fired again, like all the negativity is going to come out of the woodworks in one game. And it's unfortunate that way, because as Lion fans, we need to move past that feeling and just say, hey, we take an L, we take an L. It's against a damn good team. It's a rival. Like the Chiefs lose games too. It happens. I mean, they haven't lost yet this year, but it happens. They lose games. Should have lost games,
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, I don't want to go on a whole soliloquy about that, but yeah, I think you have the right mindset, and I do appreciate your honesty and your optimism, because I think that's how we have to be, man. We have to be optimistic about this team. We can't just be woe is me kind of situation. Like even the fans in the game against the Titans, we were up 14-14. People are like, "What the hell's going on?" I was like, just give it time. They're playing with them, and sure enough, they did. They whooped their ass. They didn't score a point the rest of the game. We've seen that in games. But anyways, Jay, are you there? I don't know what's going on with Jay, man. Jay, can you hear me? Okay.
This guy's microphone muted anyway.
Okay. Well, let's talk real quick about the Titans. Just give me your thoughts. Give me your thoughts. What you thought about the game? Any surprises? Anything stand out to you? You tell me.
Well, I think that that in the beginning of the game, the offensive line. Well, let me just say, Decker.
Are you good,
was
Jay?
The one that was
Great.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna take you off.
Decker was not having his finest moments. I'll put it to you that way. Yeah, Pete beat
first
two
play
times
was
by
not a
Art
fine
King.
moment.
Yeah. But as far as the offensive line is concerned, they didn't play a very good first quarter, but they shaped up the rest of the game. Other than that, I didn't really see much of anything that was. The defense does what they do all the time. They let one player get off, and stop everybody else. So that's just the defense, and the defense got better as the game went along as well. So you had a couple of key interceptions.
Too. Yeah, they made adjustments in the second half.
Interceptions. Yeah, a couple of punch outs by Amik Robertson. So and they got a sack. So hey, they played well. They put 52 points. That special teams was just freaking dynamite.
That's huge. If we can get some of that going forward.
That's an aspect that you haven't seen all season, really. They played pretty well when they're kicked to, but really they haven't exploded like that at all this season, at all late since Dan Campbell's taken over this team. So
right.
It's showing that the special teams is coming out to play, and they're just keeping it going, and they were responsible for at least 21 points.
Yeah,
in that game,
and also too, Bates with the field goal I think he's hit 11 in a row, and Fox was just bombing the ball. Like Fox is a weapon that nobody talks about, and he deserves respect, because the guy, when you have a punter who can flip the field like that, that's a huge weapon, because then that makes the other team start from the other side and drive the field to score, and so that's a big advantage. Jay, what were your thoughts on the Titans game? Give me your quick thoughts.
Lions game. I think that the Lions really just have to play well. I think the Lions showed up to say, hey, you know what? I don't care who we're missing. I don't care what you got going on. We're just coming here to play. And I think it was a really good game for the Lions. And, Ben Johnson showed that no matter what the case is for the offense, I think a lot of people were kind of missing Jamison Williams and him being able to spread the field. I think that Ben Johnson said, you know what? No worries. We're just going to go in a different direction. We're going to get every single weapon we have involved. They've done a great job. I think with the absence of a lot of players, I think they've done a great job with being able to still be able to score and get stops when needed.
Because this team doesn't flinch. That's what I've been saying. When Hayden goes down, when JMO gets suspended, when you don't have a pass rusher, this team doesn't flinch.
No, not at all.
There's an old cliche in sports. If the general doesn't panic, the soldiers don't panic.
Nope.
Brad Holmes and Dan are not panicking. Lions fans are panicking, but they're not panicking. And you know what? Those guys are getting paid a lot of money. Those guys have been in this stick before. I trust whatever they do. I trust whatever they want to do. And at the end of the day, us Lion fans just need to shut up and get on the train and just follow it. Until the train derails and goes off into another place, we got to follow what they're doing. I get what you want to do. I get what all the fan base wants. But you know what? They have these players for a reason. They trust whatever they see in practice. We don't see it in practice. We don't see what these dudes do. I guarantee you, if we watched Isaiah Thomas or we watched Awuku or we watched whoever the hell else, we might be like, damn, this guy should be playing more. But we don't see that. All we see is, oh, it's Awuku. Oh, it's Isaiah Thomas. These guys are trash. These guys are bad. We need to go get a Myles Garrett. We need to go get a Max Crosby. I'm not saying those guys aren't good, but I'm just saying you don't see that in practice.
Yeah.
If you watch practice and you see it all the time, then I can say, you know what? You're right. You can tell me because I trust you. You see it with your own eyes what goes on in the practice. Because remember, if you don't practice well, you don't play well.
Well, I don't necessarily think it's even that, to tell you the truth. I mean, I think that the players that they have, they know they have, and they're gonna have to fill in for Hutchinson by numbers. That's what it truly is. It's a numbers game. So everybody man up, because we got to take the place of Hutch, which will take about 2 or 3 guys to do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that Isaiah Thomas, Ruko, those guys aren't going to be, they're not going to be the next NFL tandem. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to have.
Just saying,
they're using AG is doing things to adjust on the defense like he's supposed to. That where Hutchinson has been that affects the defense, like blitzing more. 14.6% more he's been blitzing since Hutchinson's been out. So,
this is the point I'm trying to make, and I'll let you get to it, Jay, in 1 sec. When you see players like Mohammed, you see players like Zylstra, you see players like Isaiah Thomas. Listen, these dudes don't just get activated just for the hell of it. That's what I'm trying to say is that they've seen these players. They brought these players in for a reason. They watch them in practice. Like, I don't know if y'all saw the presser of Hayden, the tight ends coach. They asked about Zylstra. Why has Zylstra seen more playing time? Why was he activated? Because he's been kicking it in practice. He's been killing the scout team against the defense. Like, there's reasons why these players get activated. There's a reason why Parker Hesse got cut. Parker Hesse was a guy that they had in the first 53.
Yeah, and on top of that, though, really quick, Nate, is that they brought Shane Zylstra back. He's been with the Lions for a couple of years. They know what he's capable of. Yeah. So, I mean, the more bodies, I think the more better on offense. But now with the defensive side, I understand what you're saying, that they want to roll with the guys that they have and they're not panicked. But I don't think it's about being panicked. It's just about what you would do in scenarios like today. Right now, they're down 4 defensive players. You're down Davenport, Hutch, Rodrigo, and you're down Pascal. Now, when you're going up against a team like Green Bay I won't say they have stars on their offense, but they have players that they can get.
They have a good offense.
They're really good, really good to great offense. I think everybody complements each other very well. Mm-hmm. And when you're playing a team that are so beat up on the defense like we are, they can play into a lot of weaknesses we have. One thing. Sure. One thing that Green Bay. I don't want to get into that part really quick because I'm gonna talk about that later. But, I think when it comes to just having players, like B said, you want to have people, you want to take a couple of bodies to put out what Aiden Hutchinson has. Because Aiden Hutchinson can have 15 pressures in a game. But then when you cut that in half and you start talking about 7.5, 6 pressures, through the total game, that's going to be very problematic when you're coming up against a team.
Yeah, you're going to have to, it's going to be a numbers
It's just not sustainable. Right? I just don't think that it's sustainable for a long term. I don't necessarily think that they need Myles Garrett. That's a pipe dream. I would love to have Myles Garrett here. But if you can bring a couple of people that can get to the quarterback, that can generate a few good pass rushes on third down when needed, and not let the quarterback sit in the pocket for 4.5 seconds, I think that will do this team some justice.
Well, the thing is too, we're assuming, okay, let's just throw the word assuming. We're assuming that these guys are going to come in and be productive as they were now, but it could be, but the thing is, I think just go back to the circle around the bodies. We need more bodies. There's no doubt.
100%.
Because if another guy goes down again, we're screwed. Like we need more bodies. We're running out of bodies to bring up in the practice squad. We've gone through all our practice squad in. So I do agree with you. It is becoming a numbers game as far as just keeping our guys healthy. It's not even really about the production. It's just about having bodies out there to get more snaps and more opportunities and not have to rely on so many players to play so many snaps.
Right. Like, because it's the NFL, man. Like, people get bumps and bruises.
Yeah, it's a physical league, man. Yeah.
You know, and in our Super Bowl window right now, the reason why I think a lot of Detroiters have advocated to go out and get names is because we're in our Super Bowl window now. A lot of people say last year it opened up, and it opened up a little bit early, but as soon as that window can open, it can close just like that with a couple of injuries.
Well,
Lions have been riddled with injuries, and I mean, luckily we have a really good foundation with our team.
Yeah. All I'm going to say about that is, bro, is that I've seen teams that were Super Bowl windows have major injuries, and they still either found a way to get there or they found a way to keep winning. And that's what the Lions are doing. They're still winning. So, like I said, whatever Brad decides to do by Tuesday, I'm cool with it. You know, if he doesn't make a move, cool. If he makes a move, great. I trust whatever he does.
I'm going to be honest. I like.
I know where you stand. Trust me, we both know where you stand on that situation.
I trust him, but there are going to be times he doesn't hit or miss on everything that he does, and I think one of the indictments he had last year. Not to say we should crucify him for it, because he's done a very good job, great job here in Detroit. But last year, one of the biggest things that happened was we were kind of having that same conversation last year. And you let Chase Young go to the Niners. You let Montez Sweat go to the Bears for future picks that you could definitely afford.
I wouldn't have said let go, man. It would just depend on what they wanted.
Well, I mean, let's just be honest. He didn't inquire about any of them. There weren't any reports.
How do you know?
There weren't any reports about it. Like, I've heard that the Lions have reached out to a couple teams.
But sometimes the Lions will leak things out that they want people to hear, and sometimes they won't leak it out. They're not going to tell you everything.
Exactly. Like, you hear now that a few AFC teams are on hold to basically see how today and tomorrow goes, right?
And we don't know.
When we don't know who they're going after, we kind of got an inkling of who it may be. But I still will say that one of the indictments Holmes had last year was you didn't try to get better on defense. While you were good on defense, you didn't try to get better. You know, with the addition of maybe a secondary player, knowing that Gardner Johnson was out, knowing that we still needed more help in the pass rush, I think that kind of hurt the Lions ultimately later in the season. That was just my opinion, though. Like, if we're really talking about it, I mean, it's no way that, that San Francisco defense was as good as they said, that where they held the Lions in check the whole second half.
They were good, bro.
Their offense
they were good, man.
But think about it. Then their offense just went bonkers in the second half. You had Christian McCaffrey going off. You had
that's because the secondary was garbage, man. I mean, we saw that in the playoffs. Like, Tampa Bay torched our secondary. The Rams torched our secondary. The Niners torched our secondary.
You know what I seen last year? Last year, I seen Kendall Vildor let a ball bounce off his face mask. And halftime, I seen Gardner Johnson waving to the fans and ended up getting killed out there. Literally getting killed out there.
That's nothing to do with the pass rushing right there. That's just stupidity, and that's just bad coverage.
I also did mention
or luck
about the secondary. You still had Tracy Walker out there, right? You still had Kendall Vildor, Jerry Jacobs. You had all of these players out there, knowing that we were very thin on defense. We didn't make the necessary steps to get better. But I'm not trying to bash Brad Holmes.
Yeah, let's not go backwards on that. But I get what you're saying. I mean, like I said, if they can make a move, cool. They don't, fine.
They've improved on their secondary. Let's not get it twisted, okay? San Francisco was on their heels, all right, at halftime.
They were.
Things that just screwed the Lions over in the second half.
Turnovers.
The turnovers were a big part of it. You never see Jahmyr Gibbs fumble, but he fumbled.
And that wasn't by good. Josh Reynolds.
Josh Reynolds, usually a sure-handed receiver. He dropped passes. It was just a bunch of
that was a choke job. It was a choke job.
It was just a whole bunch of things that happened at the same time, not in a great time. If that happened in the first half, San Francisco probably would have been winning by 21 themselves going into halftime, and then the switch would have took place at a halftime. I mean, it is what it is.
What could go wrong did go wrong.
Right.
Everything that could have went wrong in that game. But
yeah,
we say for sure that if we have added maybe one or two more players, not great players, not big name stars. I think a lot of people kind of get that mixed up, and I'm not saying it's about to get big names, but do we say for sure that half the things happen if we had added just a few more players on the team?
I mean, you can retrospect all you want to. It doesn't make a difference.
If we had a better secondary, yes, we would have.
You could have had fucking Rod Woodson on the back end of that, and we still could have lost the game. When things happen, things happen. It doesn't make a difference. I've seen it happen to great players and great teams before, where they've gotten shooken up. It's something
you don't
that
want it to magnify over and over again. Yeah.
What it does, it gives the Lions more drive this year to get to that spot.
Yes.
And to win it.
Yes.
And that's what they're doing. And if Brad Holmes does not think that we don't need extra help on there, and I told you guys this in the first place, I said if they keep winning, they're going to keep waiting. And as long as they keep waiting,
they feel like
they win today. If they win today, I guarantee you they won't get nobody. I guarantee you they won't get nobody.
I would be devastated. I would be
devastated
because it's a reason why teams are in constant contention every year. The Chiefs are 6-0. 6-0 coming off of their bye week. They are 6-0 and they added.
But we've played a tougher schedule than the Chiefs had.
Huh?
We've played a tougher schedule than the Chiefs had.
Well, it doesn't.
And they probably should have lost some games in those win streaks.
But you understand that the Chiefs are making moves to stay in contention. They just made a move, right? You just got DeAndre Hopkins, another receiver, to help out Patrick Mahomes because they have nobody. And then you go.
Well, they also had a rash of injuries. That's really why they made him get Hopkins.
Right, like we have a rash of injuries as well. Then you go out here and you try to add Marshawn Lattimore from the Saints, the New Orleans Saints.
That hasn't been done yet, bro. It's just smoke. It's just smoke. It's just smoke, man. It's just smoke.
That's just what I'm saying. Like contenders. When you look at John Lynch from the 49ers, what did he do last year? He added free agents and he made pop trades. You look at Howie Roseman from the Philadelphia Eagles. You know, these teams make moves to stay in contention. They don't stay complacent where they're like, we like our guys. You can like your guys and still add.
But we are in contention. That's the thing. That's what I'm trying to say is like we are in contention. We're number one in the NFC.
I understand. But do you think that you're going to be able to keep that up for the next? This is week 8, right?
If we beat the Whackers today, yes. I'm gonna go. Okay, I'm gonna go on record right now. If we beat the Whackers today, we will run the table the rest of the season. Because there is no team that I fear after this team. I don't even fear the Whackers. There's no team. We can beat everybody on our schedule handily.
I can't.
Period. Well, that's you. That's you.
I can't.
I believe in this team. I believe in this offense. I believe what this defense is doing. I believe how hard they play. This team, nobody can beat them.
Yeah,
they can only beat themselves.
It's the NFL. Teams don't go 15-1 or 16-1 anymore. Teams that you even look at San Francisco last year with the juggernaut team that they had last year. They lost 2-3 in a row at a time when they had a bunch of injuries and as soon as they got healthy, they got back on their job.
Like you said, a bunch of injuries. Like we've been blessed that we haven't had a huge amount of injuries.
Well, think about it like this.
On one side.
No, they started out like 10-0, then they lost like the last 7. Things happen. It's the NFL.
Yep. But Kansas City still was in a Super Bowl with a 10-7 record. Just think about that. So it doesn't make a difference how many games that, as long as we hold on to the division and that all roads have to go through us. That's all that Dan is. This is what they set in place. And they said we got to win the division. Doesn't make a difference if you lose a couple of games. That's going to happen. That's part of NFL. You're not going to be good at every game. And if for instance, they lose today, right? They're going to lose. They're going to lose first place to Green Bay, which I still don't know how that's possible. But anyway, we should be tied. We should be tied because we both played 2 divisional games. We beat the team that they lost to, and we lost it. So it should be tied.
I think there'll be a game up on us. That's why.
Yeah, and they'll have the tiebreaker. So
right now,
yeah, it's important to do that. Like I want to talk about that later because I don't want to give out all the good stuff now. But I want to ask both of you guys a question while I have you here. Do you trust that we know the history of like Philadelphia? We know the history of the Green Bay Packers and how the NFL really loves these teams, right? Do you trust the Lions to go? Let's say they don't make any trades. They go and they just kill the Packers today. The Lions go and only maybe lose another 2 to 3 games after this, maybe a 14-3 record, right? Do you trust the Lions playing, or if they say lose a couple other games and they have to go on the road, do you trust them to go in Lambeau in January to play the Green Bay Packers? That's going to be a hard place to play.
Well, if
They
you're
did it
14 and
before,
3,
they
you're
beat
probably gonna be.
They
home
beat him
field
with a
advantage.
better quarterback with
Oh,
Aaron
yeah.
Rodgers. So, dude, you got to stop all that SOL stuff. See,
Aaron
that's
Rodgers.
Jay.
Not
You are
SOL.
stuck on SOL,
It's
and
not
and
SOL.
you yes, it is. It's
not
SOL because you
SOL,
keep
because-
doubting stuff. Yeah, oh my God, we got to get a defensive end. No, the hell we don't. If Brad Holmes doesn't think we need to do that, then we don't need to do that. You have to trust the process. That's part of SOL. You're not trusting the process.
SOL will be saying that they lose today and they lose another couple games after this and fall out of first place to second.
But you're saying if they're 14 and 3,
No,
we go into Lambeau.
that's
We
not
go into
SOL.
No.
SOL is a
because
complete
if they were 14
package.
They would more than likely have the number 1 seed. So let's say they end up with an 11-6 record, or 10-7 or something like that. And
They're still probably hosting a home game if they win the division. I mean, that's probably good enough to win the division, unless you're gonna have the.
If they're 10-7, let's say the Packers go and win a game or two more than the Lions, right, and have the tiebreaker over the Lions, right? They would have to go to Green Bay, or let's say they have to go to Philadelphia. We know the history of these places. Golf, look at his numbers when he play outside.
I'm not worried about Philly.
Hell.
Yeah, I mean.
Favorite
Fair.
quarterback, that's my guy. But look at the numbers. The numbers.
We would rather have the games in Ford Field, but I get what you're saying. But
Yes.
the thing is that here's what B's trying to say, and here's what I'm trying to say. Let's say if you go 14 and 3, you're more likely one of the top seeds in the NFC, and you did it without your best pass rusher. That should be enough to say, you know what? Let's go to war with whoever we have. The hell with whoever we don't have. I hate when people always put other people on this team that aren't even on this team. Like, you go to war with who you have, and that's what Brad and Dan do. They go to war with who they have.
Crosby, the Myles Garrett, they were already kind of crowning them king of here, and they haven't even been.
I wasn't,
but
I know that's a pipe dream.
But this isn't SOL. SOL is being like, well, I know that everything's just going to blow up in their face. What I'm saying simply is that this Lions team is too good to not be able to add more players and try to win a Super Bowl now. That's one.
I think they feel like they can already do that, man. I think that's what we're trying to say is they already feel like they're there already.
I don't want to see a road playoff game considering the history of places that you would have to go to and play. You're not going to Tampa Bay. I don't think Tampa Bay is really going to be much in a couple of weeks. That's no diss to anybody, but I think that Atlanta's going to do a great job down there. And I think that the two biggest contenders and the two biggest threat to the Lions are right now is Philadelphia and Green Bay.
I disagree with Philadelphia.
Now, I think the Lions are the better team. I still think that when you start going on the road in the winter in playoff atmospheres, which the Lions haven't faced yet, except in San Francisco, that's going to be a challenge.
Well, we'll see. We got to see where it all shakes out, man. We're halfway through the season.
But I will say something right now. Remember a couple weeks ago when they played the Minnesota Vikings really quick, they ended up really with 4 sacks, right? People were like, well, you got 4 sacks. One was at the last play of the game.
Who cares?
And before Sam Darnold really was kind of having a lot to throw. Just luckily our secondary.
Who cares? They took
man.
away a down.
Well,
It won us a game.
I'm going to explain to you why this is important, Nate. Because you will not be able to go up against quarterbacks that are being protected very well and think that your corners and your safeties are just going to cover.
Well, Minnesota's O-line's pretty good, man. They're not bad.
Huh?
They have good tackles, bro.
Who?
Minnesota.
Minnesota has, they have good tackles. But that was one of the reasons
that
why
wasn't a slouch.
They protected not Brock Purdy, but Sam Darnold well. And you got one of the, like I said, the sacks at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Go back last week. How many sacks did we have against a struggling Tennessee team?
One part that you're missing in that game, though, Jay, that game wouldn't have been close had it not been for Montgomery fumbling the ball.
Or they called that Brian.
That was definitely the thing that changed the game over to the Minnesota. See, those are mistakes that the Lions caused to keep that game that close. Had Montgomery held on to that ball like he was supposed to, and I'm sure that's what when he got to the sideline, the other Montgomery, the running backs coach, was telling him that.
Yeah, think about it, B. We knew the Minnesota Vikings defense is great. Like, they create multiple turnovers. You got Van Ginkel. If I'm not mistaken, Van Ginkel leads the league in, scores, on defense, if I'm not mistaken, right? Causing a lot of turnovers, getting sacks, and scoring the ball. He's done that multiple times this year. So we kind of expected that to be an aspect of the game. You want to account for Van Ginkel. It just happened. Like, things happen that kind of, it just goes off the rails. What I'm saying is that if the Lions, and I'm going to go back to this really quick. I'm going to let y'all go. But I just want the Lions to make a move to just get better. Please do something to get better. And
That's
people
fine.
want to talk
I mean,
about
that's what you want to believe. That's fine.
multiple years.
No
of
one's
Super
saying
Bowl
anything wrong
winners.
with that.
You have to at least win one Super Bowl to get multiple Super Bowls. And we have to do what we have to do now to get a Super Bowl, man. Seriously.
Yeah. Everything's on the table. So, I think after this Whackers game, I think a lot of people will either be on the fan base or off the fan base. That's how Lion fans are. They literally will jump off the bandwagon after one game.
If they jump off the bandwagon, bro, it's like, just stay away. I'm not that type of fan to be like, oh, you can't play. It's just like, come on, man.
Stay away from the chats if the Lions lose. I'll just tell you that right now. Just stay away from the chats because it's all going to be negativity. Oh, we suck. Oh, we're terrible. Oh, this and that. Anyways, let's turn the page. We have the Whackers today, and they're coming in banged up. Like, I was looking at their injury report. Love is questionable. He's going to play. Jacobs is questionable. He's going to play. I believe their center is out. Myers, that's huge. So they don't have their centers is out for the game. Williams, their rookie safety, is out. That's huge. So that's going to be more pressure on Xavier to play most of the field. So that's big because he would rely on Williams a lot of the times to cover one side and he covers the other side. Kind of like Kirby and Brian Branch do. Like, Branch, you play more in front of me, and Kirby, you play the back ends. Now you don't have that back end help, so you've got to get somebody else who they don't know who that person is. So those are some big losses. On our end, Josh Pascal is out. Rodrigo is out. Who else is out? Sion Vaki is out. Michael Wingo is out. The Lions activated Chris Smith. They brought it back Mohammed had 6 pressures in the last game, so that's good. Just in case you don't know anything about Mohammed, Dan did a really good synopsis on him. He basically said he's like a big defensive end that sets the edge. So the fact that he got 6 pressures is not bad. That's not bad for a guy who's known as to be set the edge. But he's a big dude. I watched him play in live, and yeah, he's a big boy. So yeah, so Muhammad got brought up. Parker Hesse got cut. Shane Gilstra is now on the active roster. Well, I think he was that last week. Anything else am I missing, boys? I think that's pretty much it. We don't have the inactives till later.
Did you hear Alexander?
Is he out?
He's
doubtful. Questionable. I think he's gonna play. Oh, he's doubtful? If he's doubtful, he's not playing.
He's questionable.
He's questionable, yeah. If you're questionable, you're gonna play. Yeah, see, Josh Myers is doubtful. Yeah, Alexander and Ballantyne are both questionable. So the way I look at it is you have their center that's out. That's huge. You have their starting safety that's out. That's huge. And you have Love, Jacobs, and Alexander, one of their top 3 players that are all banged up. So as Lion fans, I'm feeling pretty good about that because, you're going to play through it, but you're not going to be 100%. So you got to take advantage of that. And we're going to talk about how we do that. What did he say? Cable Hayden?
Yeah, Cable Hayden.
Oh.
He's a corner. He's a corner.
That, yeah.
But Alexander, at this point, though, Alexander is not out. He's questionable.
Yeah, he's
until
questionable.
The official report comes out to say he's out. That's when we can.
But he's not going to be 100%. That's the main thing. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, and again, I'm agreeing too. I don't know why they released Parker Hess unless it was something that Zelstra was doing during the off season that made him fall out of the favor with the staff. So and that's the reason why. And they just got brought up Hess just to say, look, dude, you do your job. This young buck's going to take your spot until you learn how to play a little bit better. That's probably
so they brought up. So they talked to Hayden in his presser. They asked him about Zylstra, and he said Zylstra's been playing more the fullback kind of role. And so that's why they probably trust him more, which is understandable. They've had him on the roster many years. They trust him more than a rookie in Parker Hesse. So I'm okay with that. Hesse will probably make the practice squad again. No worried there. Let's talk about these injuries. Do y'all kind of see what I'm saying about how the impacts of these injuries for the Whackers are? Like, do y'all see what's y'all biggest injury if they're not playing?
I'll let you go first, B.
I mean, hey, they got to play who they got to play. We got to play who we got to play. You can't base a game off of injuries. About, oh my God, Jordan Love is playing. Oh, that doesn't mean they're going to win. And because Jair Alexander's not playing, he's much a factor in any damn game I'm impressed with anyway. So that doesn't make a difference to me. You know, their offensive line is not the greatest anyway. We have the best. Let me
word that question.
Injuries are just part of what's going to happen. If they don't, the next man could step up and be great for them. You know, like if Alexander will come in and Cable Hayden comes in for Alexander, he might have a hell of a game. You never know.
Yeah. Let me reword that question to you again, because you gave me the political answer. What injury is most impactful for them that could really, really mess up their day?
If are we talking about I would say probably Jordan Love. I'm going to say Jordan Love, and reason being is because he's really the heart and soul of that team. I know Malik Willis has came out and he has done great things for the Packers, but I mean, it's the reason why they're like, hey, he's going to play. He's questionable, and they're going into their bye week because they know that Jordan Love, he ultimately has to keep this team afloat. Jordan Love is multidimensional. He can.
Well, they paid him a lot of money. He's a franchise,
and he can. But yeah, well, that's only more reason to sit him, right? Going into the bye week next week, you want to be able to save him for the longevity. But this game, it's a divisional game. It's going to be much harder. If the Lions
had a lead in this division, they probably would have rested him. I almost guarantee you that. If the Packers were up big on this division, they probably would have rested him. The fact is that this is a one game. This is a big game. This is a primetime game. They need him out there. But I am concerned because, I've talked to you about this, Jay. He's already had the sprained MCL.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a groin injury.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you've got to be careful because that leg is not fucking healed. And the next thing could be ACLs. You don't want to wish that upon anybody, but that's just the reality. I've seen that so many times where you've had these nagging injuries, and then bam, there goes the ACL.
Yeah.
So I'm really surprised that they're not.
I would never wish injury on everybody.
I just knocked on right now.
But look, with Jordan Love, I think they have a game plan because I think the weather is going to play a big part in today's game. It's going to be rainy. It's going to be a little bit cold. So they don't go downfield and make big shots, right? They don't need to take big shots. Did you see, something that I see that they could do? You remember Michigan?
Jay, just FYI, our guest is here. Go and finish your thought, and we're going to bring him on, okay?
I got you for sure. So really quick, did anyone see Michigan versus Texas? Remember what Steve Sarkisian did? To keep the ball away from Kenneth Grant, he didn't run the ball in between the tackles and guard. He kept the ball.
He aired it out.
Graham and Kenneth Grant. He did a lot of lateral passes, quick screens, and they would pick up 5-6 yards, and they drove down.
And we're going to see a lot of that with Jordan Love. I promise you.
We're going to see a lot of that with the Green Bay Packers. Like, just like the Lions have to come in with a game plan. They have to do the same thing as well. But that's me though.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got our Whacker fan on here. What's his name? Give us a little intro.
Ken. The Packer fan, with Packer Backer News. Introduce yourself there, Ken. Tell us about yourself there, buddy.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on here, guys. I'm Ken, otherwise known as the Bearded Packer Fan. I run a podcast every morning, Ken and Ken in the Morning, where we talk about the whole NFL. And then Friday nights, I do the Packers show, Frozen Tundra Network.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Can't wait for this game.
Yeah, I kind of wish it was earlier, not having to wait till 4:00.
Yeah, I hear you guys.
All right.
Change. It'll probably change a little bit the chemistry of the game too, because right now it may be cold, but it's not raining as much
50
there right
degrees,
now, right?
raining with 30-mile-per-hour gusts is what they're expecting.
But when game starts, that's when it's going to be 80% chance of rain. Then,
Well, we just
Yes.
looked it up on the show that I just got off of, and it's supposed to be 100% chance of rain through the entire game. So
Okay.
I expect this game to be a reiteration of the black and blue division of the glory
Mhm.
days.
Yeah,
Muddy.
it's gonna be ugly. There's no doubt about that. All right, well, let me start real quick, Ken. Thank you again for coming on the show.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so I've got a couple of questions for you. My first question is, we're talking about Jordan Love. So my thought is that because this game is so important right now, because it's a division game, it's also a chance to get first place for whoever wins. That's why Jordan Love is playing, because I truly believe with a groin injury and you're playing on rainy field, that is not a good recipe for a victory. You got to really hope and pray that he makes it out of the game unscathed, because that's scary. If something,
I think he's going to be on a short leash for the game. That if he shows any kind of indication that he's re-aggravating the groin injury, that we'll send Malik Willis out there, especially since we have the bye week. Unless the game's in a dead heat and we're going right down to it, then we might roll the dice a little bit and keep Love out there. But Green Bay has a lot of faith in Malik Willis too.
If that's
Rightly
the case,
so.
then why play Love? That's my understanding.
Love gives us the best chance, because Malik Willis might be good, but he's not at Jordan Love's level of good.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a follow up on that. So if he gives you the best chance to win, is one game really matter a season for y'all?
With it being a divisional game and, like you were saying, a battle for first place, I think it matters that much of it, especially since we have the bye week coming up. That he can get a rest in before we have the second bye week of the Chicago Bears.
It's funny. It's funny because
you don't need rest for that.
And you guys can back me up on this too. I feel like this game means more to y'all than it means for us, because the Lions have been playing out of their mind right now, and I get it. The Packers are a step up above the competition and all that, but I mean, we were talking earlier before the show started that the Lions can still win this division and have multiple losses. Like, we're not going to only have one loss the rest of the season, but if you look at our schedule, it favors out pretty well after y'all. Going forward.
Yeah, with how tight this division is, I think it's really important to try to maintain that number one position for this division, especially since most of our divisional games are backlogged in the second half of the season.
Right.
Yes, very important.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like, just listening to the Packer fan base, they really, really want this win. Because they want to show that they're still on top of us. Because I feel like that's the back and forth with Lions and Packer fans. It's like, oh, y'all won 13 championships. We haven't won one since the 50s. We've been dog shit. Y'all been whatever, irrelevant, have only had one Super Bowl to show in like 10 years. So I feel like it's more of a supremacy for the Packer fans to feel like we got to get this win. Plus, it's at their house, because
I think what a lot of it is you got a certain subsection of Lions fans that are going out and saying, "Oh, Green Bay's got no chance," and they're going to get completely blown out. That's why I think you're getting the overreaction from Packers fans, because either of our two fan bases are going to tell you realistically that this is probably going to be a damn close game.
Yeah, it's a division game. Sure, it's gonna be very similar to when we played the Vikings. Like,
it's
gonna come down to the fourth quarter. It's gonna come down to who makes mistakes, who executes, and all that. Especially in this kind of weather, you have to execute, because if you're not executing, you're turning over the ball.
Oh, absolutely. And with how good both of our defenses are at turnovers, that's something you really got to be monitoring.
What do y'all got?
Yeah,
go and fire away.
My name is Jay. I don't think I've ever met you before, but
nope, not yet.
but
now you have.
with considering the elements, the rain, I know how it gets cold in Green Bay. I've been there a couple times. I know how it gets out there. So I just want to ask, what are some things you're looking for in today's game? What are some of the things you want to see in today's game?
I want this to be the Josh Jacobs show. I don't want Jordan Love out there throwing the ball all over the field. Granted, I still want him to take his shots and all that, but I want this offense to be funneled through Josh Jacobs for this one.
It's
Okay.
funny you say that. I want to piggyback on his question. You do know the Lions have one of the top rush defenses in the NFL, and haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher in God knows how many games. Why do you think it'll be different today?
Because Josh Jacobs, when he went up against Tennessee, that was the number one ranked defense back when we played them, he had himself one monster of a game. So I like to ride with Josh Jacobs. He's been real good since we picked him up. And he seems to have gotten over his fumbling issue in the beginning of the season.
Now he's also dealing with an ankle injury too. He was questionable coming into this game, and that's the last thing as running backs you want to have his ankle injury, especially on rainy turfs.
Yeah.
I'm interested on that one because Tennessee was a damn good defense. We put 52 points on that defense, and we ran the hell out of the ball on that defense. I don't think Tennessee has the better players than we do. I mean, when you talk about the inside, just with DJ Reader and Aleem McNeil inside, that's enough beef to make you fat for years. I mean, now I will say this: if Jacobs can get to the outside, that is advantage to him, because I don't trust the edge guys we have right now to set the edge completely for us on their run defense. I think our linebackers are really going to have to do their fits and really take him down quick, because he's not an easy running back to take down. He's a very big. He's like a bowling ball. He's like Monty, but not as talented as Monty. Like he's a step below Monty. Like I think he's a little faster than Monty.
I would say he was better than Monty, especially since he's won the rushing crown before.
Yeah, but I mean, look at where he came from. He came from Chicago. I mean, everybody looks like shit there. I mean, so I mean, if Monty was on a good running team with the offensive line he had, this guy would have won rushing titles.
It's not like Jacobs had a great offensive line when he was playing over and over.
Better than Chicago.
Not by much.
I don't know.
I was talk to a couple Raiders fans. I have one on the morning show, and he'll just tell you how trash they
were. They were about mid ranking. They weren't that bad.
So let me throw something in there. Your game against Tennessee was screwed a little bit because you had Malik Willis as a quarterback. He ran for 73 yards. That's an aspect that you're not going to have with Josh. Or with
I wouldn't run him,
Josh, but
Jordan
with your quarterback, Jordan back. Yeah, you're not going to have that. Josh Jacobs actually only had 43 yards in that game, and he didn't even get a touchdown, and that's on 14 carries. So they did a pretty good job on the actual running backs. And Eric, what's his name? Wilson. I mean,
Williams.
Wilson. He had 50 yards. Also, he had more and he had less carries than. He had less carries than Jacobs and had more yards. Mm-hmm. But the touchdown came from Malik Willis, who had 73 yards, and they just couldn't stop that. And that's the aspect of the game that changes around in this one with Jordan playing, because he's not going to do that. Jordan is he's pocket awareness. He can run when he needs to run, but that's what he does. He runs when he needs to. Malik Willis is basically, I'm going to run if I don't see something open. And Green Bay is going to give him that. Yeah, Green Bay is going to give him that light because that's what kind of quarterback he is. Mm-hmm. But, Jordan's not that type of quarterback. So, I mean, he can get it done on the ground if he has to, which hopefully he doesn't have to. Because,
I don't
want with the groin injury and the rain the way it is.
Don't want that.
Slippery field. That's not a good condition for him. They got him.
I'm not too worried about the slippery field because we usually do a good job of wearing the right cleats for our field. It's more the slippery field to me is more of a problem for you guys coming in as being the visitors. But with you being a division rival, you know a little better how to play on our field.
Y'all the same field. I'm sure that they've just used the same cleats they used last year. So kind of going back to what I was saying, I really think if you guys feel that the run game is going to be effective against us, it's going to have to be on the outside. Because even if you watch the Vikings, who actually probably were the best run effective team against us for early part of the game, they ran outside. They bounced it outside. And so, but I think if you try to run inside, good luck
Yeah,
because
I think if
DJ
we're
Reader and
running,
Mac are there.
yeah, I think if we're running inside, we're running off of Elton Jenkins' hip, and with how good of an offensive lineman he is, I think he can put up enough competition for it. Now, I don't want him running behind Myers at all. Myers, I think, is
I
going to
think
get.
Myers is out.
I didn't see that he was out.
He's doubtful. Usually when you're doubtful, you're not going to play.
Well, I was going to say he was also doubtful last week, but ended up playing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Damn, you want to just throw everybody out there against us. Shit. You're like, fuck, we got to get this game because if not, the Lions fans will be talking until the next one.
Oh, yeah.
But I have another question for you. So,
Yep.
how confident are you in your defensive line to stop the Lions' running game? Because both Sonic and Knuckles, they kind of made a name for themselves. Montgomery and Gibbs both can really break it out to the outside. They can run inside. They're very, they're not one-dimensional. They're very dynamic when it comes to running the ball. How do you think your defensive line fare against our line?
The defensive tackles, I'm not worried about at all. Kenny Clark, and especially that we have Wyatt back, they stand up pretty well on the inside. It's once you get to the outside of the defensive line. Preston Smith is good against the run, but Gary's very iffy on the run, and Van Ness isn't that great against the run yet. But I think where we're going to have success in stopping your run is if we're able to get Edgerrin Cooper crashing down on you. That's where I think he's going to make some noise.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back on Coop because I'm an Aggie fan, so I love Coop. I
absolutely love him.
I hated that Joe went to y'all's fucking team. Anyways, I'll tell you one thing. I'll give you a scouting report on Coop real quick. When he fits, but he misses a lot too.
I've seen it. He's a high risk type of guy.
He's boomer bust.
Yep.
Like this guy could have been a top 5 pick in the NFL, but he was more bust at times than he was boom. But when he booms. He's good. But the thing is, and I've seen this in SEC play with Coop, you make a juke cut or a jump cut on this motherfucker, he's gone. He's gonna bite and the guy's gone second level.
I was going to say he has been getting better at mitigating that these past couple of weeks, but I know exactly what you're talking about because it's the same thing kind of with Quay Walker. If he can just go in and crash on you, he's awesome. But if you make a cut on him, he's still going where he was going to go to start.
You don't want to do that against Jahmyr Gibbs because your jockstrap will be on the ground in 2 seconds.
Absolutely.
And he'll into the end zone.
With Gibbs, I want to see us rallying to that ball and having like 7-8 guys trying to tackle him.
So just want to throw this out there because I had to look up the stat myself. So when we played y'all in Lambeau Field last year, I know a lot of y'all forgot that game because everybody thinks it was just the one game that y'all beat us in Thanksgiving. Y'all had Quay, y'all had Devontae, y'all had Preston, y'all had Clark, and the Lions ran for almost 200 yards.
There's a major component that you're not putting into this.
Don't say Jeff Haffey, please.
Oh, Jeff Hafley versus Joe Barry. Joe Barry's absolute dog water, and I'm still celebrating that we got rid of that son of a bitch.
All right. Let me talk about this defense.
Though he was the hero on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of Green Bay Packer fans like, oh, that's what he's supposed to be doing.
I think this.
He had one decent game.
I think this defense is more predicated on the players, not necessarily on the scheme, because I've seen Haffey's defense. It's more aggressive, but so is AG's. AG's as aggressive as Haffey are. They're both too aggressive.
Now he doesn't have a choice but to be aggressive.
Well, that's true. But what I'm saying is like they're very aggressive mindsets.
Yeah.
So I think it's more the players. I mean, as much as I don't like y'all, I have to give y'all credit because Clark is a dude. I like Coop. Quay when his head's on straight is a good player.
Mm-hmm.
Alexander is still decent. this Williams guy, I really want to see him play, see if he's legit or not.
Yeah, unfortunately, it don't look like he's going to be
Yeah,
playing for this.
yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like, y'all have good players. I think that Haffey just inherited a good defense. I don't think necessarily he's done a lot to really make the defense lights out. I think y'all turn over the ball more, but I feel like y'all done that before.
We did up until Joe Barry got there. What a lot of it is Joe Barry massively underperformed with the talent we had on that defense, and Haffley's letting them go out and go make plays. He's not trying to come up with these super complicated defensive schemes where you got to run it because you have shitty talent. We have the talent to do whatever the hell we want. Just put them forward and let them do their play.
It's amazing. It's amazing when you let players do what they want to do. Just let them play to their strengths. It works wonders. I mean, we talked about that.
My bad.
Let me just give one point in real quick. Before, we talked about that with Terrell Williams, our defensive line coach. Like, the guy we had before was green, like Haffey, college dude, thought he knew everything, came in there and was way over his head, making it too complicated. And then you bring this OG in, who is one of the best D-line coaches in the NFL, and he just says, you know what? Shed and go. That's all I tell my boys. Shed and go. Shed and go to the quarterback. And even Aiden said himself, so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's amazing when you cut the bullshit and just like, hey.
And that's considered a scheme. So, I mean, with different defensive coordinators come different schemes. Like, you can tell the difference between the defensive coordinator from Green Bay right now to Barry from last year, just on how the defense is playing. Yeah, they have the advantage of having McKinney back there. McKinney is extra. He was a great safety when he was with the Giants.
Yeah, great.
So they got that the safety is what you need. Every good team that makes playoff runs or gets in the Super Bowl has one person, and it's the safety.
We got
one great safety on their team that wins championships.
Yeah.
So you got to look at it like that. McKinney's a great safety. Hey, and I'm not backing off from our safety. Our safeties are great. We got safeties. Our safety's got 9 interceptions right now.
Whew. Man, talk about hiding the cornerbacks.
Per PFF, Brian Branch is number 1 and Kirby Joseph is number 2.
No, 3.
3.
I think Xavier's 2.
Yesterday.
Yeah,
Xavier Kenny's 2. Yeah.
Yeah, it's only like a 2-point difference, and these guys have been battling back and forth for the number 1 spot.
Yeah.
So I honestly put our safeties at the same level. And Evan Williams, when he's out there, he's on that cusp of it. I'm not going to put him up there yet because he's a rookie, but he's showing very promising signs that he's going to be one of those legit type of dudes.
Now, Evan Williams was more of the in-box safety, right? Like, because Xavier plays more of the free range, right?
It honestly goes back and forth. It depends on the play because we'll put McKinney down in the box sometimes, and sometimes it will
really?
Yep. Because McKinney's actually pretty damn good against the run himself. He's not
every time I see him out there, he's always in that free range. I never see him in the box.
I was gonna say if you pay, I was gonna say if you pay a little more attention, not like you're not sitting there not paying attention.
Right. Well, I don't watch Green Bay, but yeah.
If you focus in on it, you'll see him drop down. Okay. I want to say like 15-20% of the time it'll be him down there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's actually, we got to run the football down y'all's throats. So then he goes to the box, and then we could Jared Goff and just throw up top to whoever else is going to be next to him.
I have a question for you, Packer fan. So with the elements today, I was just discussing with the other guys that Goff numbers look a little bit shaky when he plays outdoor in the cold. So what do you think of defensive scheme that you could run to, kind of eliminate Detroit's passing game? Because Detroit over the past couple games has 25 touchdowns and only 20 incomplete passes. Jared Goff has been on fire. So what are some things you want to see against our offense today?
I think we're going to have to see a lot of bracket type of coverage because we're missing Evan Williams and Alexander. So we got guys playing out of their premium position right now. What I'm massively worried about is Goff picking on Eric Stokes because he has not been good this year.
Okay. Yeah. I look and say that it's going to be kind of hard for, I feel, both teams to, kind of try to air it out a lot because, rain, people are going to slip. You're going to see a lot of receivers falling and tripping and getting knocked off of their routes. So, I think that's going to be a problem for both teams. I know you say you think your team is a little bit more prepared than we are, but, I mean,
the Lions play practice outdoors too.
If you got to understand this as well. When you're a football player, and I've experienced this playing, I know it's not at NFL level, but when I was in high school, I experienced it. It is a difference. It is a difference playing indoors compared to playing outdoors when it's raining. When it's raining, you know, a lot of players don't have a lot of sure footing, and they play like that. So your receiving routes are going to be a little bit slower, probably by a couple seconds slower. And that means the quarterback's going to have to hold on to the ball just a little longer. That's where games get messy. Because if they have to hold on to the ball a little bit longer, that means the pass rush can get to the quarterback.
But the release of the ball with a wet ball.
And in fact, you got to hold on to the ball. Okay, that's the other thing. That doesn't help you either. So if you're like Jared Goff standing back there and you got to wait a couple of seconds for Amon St. Brown to come open,
tuck the damn ball and take the sack,
and a defense comes back there, you got to hold on to the ball. Take the sack, hold on to the ball. Don't go back there and try to be Captain Hero.
Yeah.
Goff has the habit of doing that sometimes. That's what happened to him in Thanksgiving. He was trying to play hero ball. That's why he lost the ball so many times. Dude, just hold on to the ball. Don't worry about the sack.
To be fair, our guards were out of that game, and so all the pressure was up by Kenny Clark in the middle, and they put Rashawn Gary inside too, and ate up on those two backup guards. Now,
I was going to say Gary was going against Decker quite a bit.
He was, but they also lined him up inside too because our guards were so weak inside because they had two backup guards, and so all the pressure came. Even that one play that should have been incomplete pass, but they called it a touchdown for y'all.
Look, dude, that's not an excuse. You have to play the game. So if they weren't guarding, that's their damn fault. They have to do their job.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying we have our starters.
The point of the matter is you just can't. The weather is going to show some kind of effect on that certain situation. If Green Bay applies pressure to that front on a passing play, Goff has got to have shorter routes. That's what he's got to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's the same thing on Green Bay side with Jordan. That's what we were talking about earlier. Jordan's got to have shorter routes for his receivers too, because like I said, range cuts down a couple of seconds when you're running through it because it's no footing. You really don't. Even if you have the right cleats, you're still, as a human being, you're still unsure of the grass. That's the point. And the rain.
Accelerate all the way, or how do I stop on the drop of a dime?
Right. Yeah. Like they ain't gonna be no button hooks that are gonna be button.
No, you're not gonna be able to run. You're not gonna be able to run full speed on a wet field. You're just not.
Yeah.
I agree with that, except for when it comes to Dontavian Wicks. He's very good on his feet, even in shitty conditions. His problem is that this season, for some reason, he's got hands of stone. He's winning and getting wide open, but not so great once the ball's there.
I will say
that point.
I will say this as we're talking about the weather conditions. It does favor y'all in this game because the fact is, I was watching NFL Network and they said that Mother Nature is a Packer fan today because if you have a team that is lights out on turf.
Mariucci said that, but that's okay.
I know he did.
He's a Packer fan. Before he's
I absolutely love
you also coach the Lions.
Of course you do.
Hey, he's Italian and he was a Packers coach. He's got a double win in my book.
He was also a Lions coach too in the garbage. But anyways, we'll move
that even gives him another accolade for why I like him.
Anyways, so but I will say this: with the Lions on turf, they're almost unbeatable because of the speed that you can throw out there with Gibbs, with JMO, with St. Brown, with Laporta, with Monty, even Patrick. You can throw all these dudes out there and they'll just turn and burn. On a wet field, they're not going to be able to make those cuts as quick and not the speed. They're not going to get a top speed. Hopefully, maybe they'll get close to it, but they're not going to be a top speed on wet fields, more likely.
Yeah.
They're going to be slippery, losing footing and all that. So that does play into y'all's favor because anytime you play in a rainy condition when the team hasn't played outside, that's advantage home,
Yep.
And so I'm kind of surprised that the line's 3 points, because I would have thought it'd be closer to maybe 1 or whatever.
It's actually 2.5 right now.
It was still 2.5 is a lot. I mean, 2.5 for being a rainy condition game. Yeah. For a visiting
in an
team.
important game. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they either know something we don't know, or they just I don't know. They just love the Lions so much. I have no idea.
It's 2.5 because they know the theme for this division is winning by 2 points. And that's honestly what my prediction is who's going to win is it's going to be by 2.
I was going to say, do you think the Packers cover the spread, or what's your prediction?
Well, they're getting points.
Yeah.
We're favored to win, Jay.
Points already. So even if we lose, with my prediction being that it's going to be decided by 2 points, we'd still cover the spread.
Right.
I thought
when you lose, you win.
Yeah.
I thought y'all were favored to win this game. I thought y'all were going to be favored in this game. I'm really surprised that the Lions were 2.5.
I'm honestly not shocked with how good you guys have been doing the past few weeks, and especially with Jordan Love coming off the injury. It honestly makes sense that you guys are the favorites for this one.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Las Vegas is concerned, they're putting 2 and 2 together. Actually, what Ken said with Jordan still not really 100% with that groin. Detroit has a good, solid run defense, just like Green Bay does. But Detroit's been more dynamic offensively than Green Bay has over these past 4 or 5 games. That's why they gave the edge to the Lions, because of that feature, of both of those features right there. And that's it. But we all know it's a division game, just like with Minnesota. The teams aren't going to give up, either one of them, and it's going to be a hard-fought battle. And like I was with Dan Campbell, he loves this kind of football game.
Yeah, he lives muddy. He was so happy for this game. Right. I never seen.
He was like, "We got white jerseys; they're gonna be green.
Yeah, we're gonna have green stains on
them.
Muddy,
straight brown.
Yeah,
mud's gonna be all over the field.
But you know what?
Yeah.
But you know what? That's why we love Dan so much, is because he doesn't panic.
Mm-hmm.
He just says, "Hey, we're gonna have green stains on our jerseys. We're gonna feel like we're outside. Like, fuck yeah, we're enjoying this. We're gonna have a good time." Like,
it almost feels like our coaches are like the perfect antithesis to each other. Is that your guy's an awesome motivator, but not the best play caller type of thing? Where our guy's an awesome play caller, but not the best motivator.
Well, Dan's not calling the plays first and foremost.
There's a reason why he's not calling them anymore.
Well, because Ben Johnson
you don't have to because you got Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
Ben Johnson is the ultimate.
You got 2 head coaches on the team. Actually 3, because Scotty Montgomery, I think, it called.
And see, I think that's what makes Dan a very good coach, because he doesn't have to focus on a certain part of the defense. He surrounds himself with the talent. He's got talent as coaches to take care of that stuff. If he sees somebody fucking up, he's going to go in there and say, "Hey," because like last year when after that Packers game, he told AG, "I'm taking the play calling over for the defense," because the defense was looking horrible in that game. So that's what he did. And they won like 3 games right after that. So
LaFleur had to do the same thing with Joe Barry.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't give Dan Campbell credit for his hand in calling plays as well, because whatever Ben Johnson calls, it has to be okay by Dan Campbell. So when you look at Dan Campbell, remember when they had, Anthony Lynn? He was the first play caller, first offensive coordinator back in 2021. When they were struggling, he got rid of him. He said, "I'm going to take over until I place my guy in place," which was Ben Johnson. And they went from there.
Exactly. That first season, the wins were because of Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Exactly.
With no talent on that fucking team.
I say one of the biggest indictments on Dan Campbell is he turns into Riverboat Dan Campbell. And
that's part of this game.
You're backed up in your own end zone. Why would you want to go for a fake punt, which leads the team to short field and have a great chance of scoring?
Because he's got the balls of a fucking stallion, man. Like he doesn't care. Like when you're 75% effective, you can run those plays.
Sometimes
he has faith in his team.
But that other 25%, it could be in some of the most damn.
You can't bat 1,000, bro. You can't bat 1,000. We talked about this. If everybody lived 1,000% life, there would be no chaos.
It's perfect.
Nobody lives 1,000% life.
it's perfectly fine.
75% I'll
Want
take
to know
all the
something
time.
else though, Nate? Like when I look at the Minnesota game, I think the Lions knew that they were just better than Minnesota, right? Because they still ultimately won at the end of the game. But if that was a different team who knew how to capitalize on mistakes and keep the lead, you know, Minnesota haven't really kept a lot of leads in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but you're discrediting
our
you're discrediting our defense too, dude. Our defense
no,
got to
I'm not
stop.
discrediting the defense at all.
Yes, you are, because you're saying
No.
if you had an offense that was capable, the defense has made plays when they need to make plays.
Well,
So
I understand that, but what I'm saying is that if you're going in a big time decision like that, that could cost you a game.
that was a big time game. That was the first place, bro.
Listen,
How big do you want to
Nate,
get it?
Listen, Nate, what I'm saying is that teams usually capitalize off that. We know the Minnesota Vikings have
Not all the time, bro. Not all the time. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, bro. I get what you're saying, but not all the time.
Don't get me
when
wrong,
you have a good
I'm glad
defense,
they
you
won the
can
game.
take out offense.
I'm glad they won the game, but we started behind the 8-ball 10-0.
Hey, Ken, you ever have these conversations with other Packers?
Know,
Oh, absolutely. I was going to say, you watch the Packers show, you'll be seeing us go at it all the time.
Yeah.
But you know, that's my only indictment. The guy.
No, I get it. I'm gonna cut you off for a sec because I'm gonna ask.
That's how it is.
All right. So give me your honest assessment of Jordan Love. Don't give me that bullshit about how he's better than Patrick Mahomes.
He ain't gonna give you that bullshit.
Yeah, give me your honest assessment of Jordan Love right now.
My honest assessment is that right now he's playing a little too recklessly with the football and
9 interceptions.
Throwing interceptions on passes that you shouldn't even attempt. Some of them, sure, go ahead, roll that dice and let it go. Because that was what I didn't like about Aaron Rodgers is he was allergic to interceptions. That he would hold the ball or throw it away versus taking the chance. So I like seeing Love take the chance. I just not as much. Now, do I believe that if he can get these interceptions wrapped up under control, in a year or two he could be on a Patrick Mahomes level? Yes, but it's going to take a lot of work on his part.
I think he's pressing too much. He's not Patrick Mahomes. Let's just get that out of the location. He's not Patrick Mahomes.
He's saying like
yeah.
That's
I wouldn't even put him in that category. I wouldn't even put him in that category.
Well, I mean, he is doing better than Patrick Mahomes right now.
Yeah,
Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, he did better than Patrick Mahomes at the end of last year.
2/3 of the league quarterbacks are doing better than
Patrick Mahomes isn't Superman running around with that cape.
Okay, let me stop you right there. Because this is the problem I have with you Whacker fans. Okay, so here it is. Y'all put Jordan Love on a pedestal like nobody else's business. I'm not saying all Packer fans, but most of y'all do. Okay, but yet y'all don't give Goff any respect. When Goff is numbers, I'll put him right up against Jordan Love's, and they're either better or around the same. Why is that? Why do y'all shit all over Jared Goff all the time?
For most of Jared Goff's career, he's been a very middling quarterback.
Okay, but he's not. But he's a different team now, different regime, different coach, different OC. All that shit, all that's gone. Right now, head to head.
Even with a lot of his Lions games, he was still kind of iffy. This year, though, he has been playing out of his fucking mind.
He's been balling out since he's the second year he's been here. Like, have you not seen his numbers? Like, the first year was dog shit because we had no offense. Our best player was Khalif Raymond. Am I wrong or am I right, guys?
You're 100% right.
Well, exactly.
Last year,
all we had was the fucking O-line.
Let me put it to you this way. Okay, Ken hit his quarterback on the nose. Let me hit Goff on the nose. And I know I'm gonna catch flack for this. Goff is good when his surroundings are good.
Right.
That's why LA went to the Super Bowl when he got there. And they had an offensive line. They had a great running back in Todd Gurley, and they had a pretty decent defense. Okay, he was and some pretty good receivers. Not the greatest receivers. I'm not saying that the Lions don't have the greatest. They're not. They have Amon St. Brown. Okay, he's making a lot out of what he has, and people call him an overzealous slot receiver, but he plays all the positions. So I give a middle finger to for that one. But anyway, the second one is the fact is Goff is a good quarterback. He is. He's a good quarterback. But when chips are down, sometimes he's not going to be the guy that you want to go. Goff is is starting to show you he can win games. But there was, Goff is not the guy that always will lose you games, although we've seen a couple of times he's done that, like with Seattle, throwing that pick six, Philadelphia, throwing a pick six. Those are throws he can't be doing. Yeah. As far as Jordan Love and Goff comparison, I mean, they are two different types of quarterbacks. Jordan Love is a little bit more athletic than Goff is. Not a little bit, a lot more athletic than Goff is.
Hanging up
Goff
in the stands, beat if I can celebrate.
Yeah, Goff is a pocket.
Goff is a pure passer from the pocket.
Right.
Period.
Yeah. So I mean, when he is going to achieve a lot as long as the team around him is achieving a lot too. That's why Ben Johnson created his offense. He created his offense for Goff. Because Goff, he need to play. 100%. He need to play for Goff. If this was Stafford in this defense, and I'm not trying to make this comparison here because Stafford's a different quarterback than Goff, but if the Stafford was in here, you probably have less to worry about with Stafford because Stafford is a gunslinger. Yep. Okay,
kinda
he's like Brett Favre.
Love is a gunslinger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. He's got that gunslinger mentality, and it's all you had to do. Hell, he did as much as he possibly could do the 12 years he was here as a line without an offensive line, not a decent defense, no running game at all, and he still won games. He didn't win a lot of games, but he still won games. But if you put him behind this line with the running backs that he has and the receiver, this dude would be throwing for 5,000 yards every season. Goff is just playing within his means, and that's cool. Right. I'm not saying Goff's a bad quarterback. Yeah. I'm just saying he's playing.
The slander behind Jared Goff is ridiculous.
Yeah,
because he is a top quarterback. All he does is win. Okay, I don't care what he did with the Rams. If you want to go talk about the Rams, fine. He went to Super Bowl. Love hasn't even done that yet. So there you go. Next thing, he is an efficient. Hold up, he's an efficient quarterback. But the thing is that I'll go one step farther with B. It's philosophy, because Matt LaFleur is more of an aired out type of dude, to where Goff has the best O-line in the NFL, the best two backs in the NFL, and he has Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson, who all believe in the run game. So you bring in this guy from California who was more of a passer with McVay, who also McVay was with LaFleur, same thing. They're buddy. So very similar styles. Goff has to adjust his game, because Goff can air it out. I'm sorry. I watched him in college. Okay, he played in shitty Cal and was tearing it up through the air. He did it at the Rams too. But the thing is that when you come to a team that believes in running the football first and foremost than anything else, that's what they're going to do. If you put Jared Goff on the Packers, he could air it out with just like the best of some of these other quarterbacks, because he's got the arm, he's got the talent. He can make
my issue with Goff is that if you don't give him a damn good offensive line, is once he gets hit in the mouth a couple of times, he's prone to turn it over. That's why, yeah.
That's any quarterback.
You got some quarterback.
Mahomes has ass. He sucks.
What separates Jared Goff and Jordan Love? I think B said it best. It's the athleticism.
That's the only thing that separates them.
Jordan
That's
Love.
it.
I was gonna say Jordan Love's got more arm talent than Goff. Goff is still good, but I think Jordan Love's arm talent's more explosive.
Maybe. I love it. Yeah.
I'm kind of 50-50 on that, but I look. Jared Goff,
maybe
you won't see Jared Goff roll out of the pocket and then make some crazy pass.
No, that's athleticism. That's athleticism.
We've seen
because he is playing within the offense that Ben Johnson has set for him.
Of
course, he's not going to do that.
And we don't want
he can throw the ball when he needs to, but if he has to step back there like he did against Tampa Bay 55 times, you can see how that catches up to you.
Yes,
he got a pick. You don't throw picks if you're not throwing the ball 55 times. You do not allow Goff to throw the ball 55 times.
No quarterback can win with throwing 55 times.
Fucking Stafford has done it.
No. I was going to say Rodgers has done it quite a bit.
These are quarterbacks that can do that within the realm of what they are. This is the problem that I have with fans with the Lions, because they always want to say, "Oh, God," because he's having success. Wins are not always attributed to the quarterback. It's attributed to the total team. That's another thing that's got to go, because the quarterbacks don't win games. Everybody wins the game.
Yeah.
Second of all, Stafford, it's like Stafford, Jordan Love, Goff, and like for instance, let's say Cousins. Okay, Cousins, he's gonna throw the ball, chuck it down the field a couple of times, but usually you see when he gets messed and flustered is when he's throwing the ball too damn much and he ain't running the ball. If he ain't got a running game, Cousins ain't shit.
Most quarterbacks
Okay.
are not made to throw 50 attempts in a game.
He
It's
ain't.
just- it's just-
Oh yeah. It
lot
takes
of
a special guy to do that.
It's a lot
So,
of
like-
pressure on your arm.
But see,
Stafford,
you know,
Mahomes,
that's just-
top tier quarterbacks like those will find ways to win the game if they don't have a running game because they're used to it. Patrick Mahomes didn't really have a very good run game in college, but he was throwing the hell out that ball.
Yeah.
This
Oh, yeah.
is the same thing he did when he went to
Because that was
Kansas
the
City.
offense that they ran with Mike Leach. It was
Kansas
a
City
running-
didn't have no
two-back
damn running
offense.
backs until they got my man is hurt right now. So I mean,
I'll tell. Go ahead.
it's just
I'll finish.
it's just a quarterbacks. It's a difference. Quarterbacks are all different. Okay?
I'll tell you where the comparison of Patrick Mahomes
That's all there
and Love
is.
comes. I'll tell you where the comparison between those two comes at it with Packer fans. The fact is that Love can throw off platform like Patrick Mahomes can. But the problem is that Love is trying to do what Patrick Mahomes is doing. The problem is he doesn't have the arm strength of Patrick Mahomes, first and foremost. And he doesn't have the awareness of Patrick Mahomes. Because Patrick Mahomes, he can throw off platform and throw it on a dime for a touchdown. I've seen Jordan Love. Huh?
So Love can throw it.
But he throws a lot more picks than he throws more touchdowns.
When he throws the picks, it's not really about being off platform. It's more he's kind of just tossing it up and giving the guy a chance, even if the guy's not in the best position for it. That's
He's
where
not
he
really-
throws a lot of.
But
his
that's not
not
smart
really
either
coverage.
because
He's not reading
yeah,
coverage
yeah,
really well.
Yeah, that's where my knock on Love is some of his decision making.
especially when your best receiver is 5'11". I'm sorry, he's not Calvin Johnson. Like, I get the guy's good. I mean, but he's 5'11".
And Jordan Love, he's a good quarterback. I mean, I know a lot of us give him crap. I mean, I think he's a really good quarterback now. He's not Patrick Mahomes. I would no way and never in any shape or form until he gets at least one Super Bowl, put him in the category of Mahomes. But, with Jared Goff, we play to his strengths. Good offensive line, good running game, great receivers. You understand what I'm saying? I think you can win in spite of having Goff, whereas I don't think you can really have Goff carry the team. But if you have him with a good team, he'll dissect it. He'll outplay.
Yeah, we don't want him to carry the team.
If he has the right players around him. If he has a reliable receiver like he did in LA, Cooper Kupp, Xavier Woods, Tyler Higbee, look at the players over there. Todd Gurley, he will do good, but I have yet to see what Jordan Love could do without his receivers, right? Like if a couple people go down, God forbid, in Green Bay, how would Jordan Love respond to that? We know how Jared Goff would respond, but how would Jordan Love respond to that?
I was going to say, we've seen it for a couple of games where the top guys are out and Jordan. With him, he spreads the ball around so much, it's not too big of a thing to where, hey, this guy's not playing this game. Oh, my God, the world's burning. It's, okay, I guess I'm just throwing to my tight end more, to the third receiver more.
I think also too, to kind of wrap this little part off, like, and I said this before the season started, when y'all are going to pay Jordan Love his money, we paid Goff his money, but we paid him for two different reasons. Y'all paid Jordan Love because without Jordan Love, y'all are not that good. Let's just be honest.
Well, I mean, Malik Willis has been doing pretty good.
Come on, man. Give me a break.
Well, you didn't have
Malik
Malik
Willis.
Willis at the time.
I mean,
there's a reason why y'all traded for him and nobody wanted him. He's not that good.
Yeah, because Tennessee was stupid and they're slapping themselves in the face over it.
He's not that good. I mean, I think he was way overhyped. He's coming out of Liberty.
Again, the product of the offense is the product of the quarterback. When they say offense makes the quarterback, Tennessee never had a really good offense in the first fucking place.
They didn't surround him.
When they put him on a team that had a decent, above average offensive line, good tight ends and good receivers and good running back, yeah, he's going to make an impact on that game because he doesn't have to worry about shit.
But he's not gonna. But he's not a guy who's going to win you a lot of games. I mean, the only reason
it's not
why
his
y'all
job.
won those,
he's a backup quarterback.
But my argument to the Rob, right?
No,
Ken.
Ken. I'm sorry. I don't know why I say Rob. I think it's the other Rob Packer.
yeah. Rob and I do a lot of shows.
Yeah, that's why. The reason why I say that to you, Ken, is because I saw Malik Willis in college, and I knew that his game was not going to translate to the NFL. And I don't know why in the hell the Titans took him, because he wasn't that good. Now, Malik Willis has just been decent because y'all's defense has really been the catalyst and the running game. So if those aren't working, then nobody even noticed what Malik Willis is doing. And his numbers are okay. But let me go back to my point. So what I'm saying is that y'all pay Jordan Love the top money because y'all know without him, y'all are just mid. Let's just be real. Y'all are just mid. We paid.
I also think it's the back market as well. You know.
Well, hold up. I'm making a point.
At the perfect time.
With Goff, we paid him the money because we want him to continue to do what he's doing, which is don't put the ball in harm's way, make good passes, and give the ball to fucking Monty and Gibbs.
I can't believe you making me you making me defend Packer fans, man, and I hate doing that. But do you think if we didn't have Goff, that this team would still be able to go as much as as far as we could go?
I mean, you have the best line, you have the best backs, you have good receivers, you have a defense that's getting better. Are you asking for the Packers or me?
For the Lions.
Yes. You've even said yourself that if you could possibly put Hooker back there, I'm not saying he could be Goff, but he could be like good as Willis is. I mean, with all the listen,
it's different. Like Jordan Love, obviously we said that Jordan Love, I feel, is the heart and soul of that offense. You know, Jordan Love knows that team.
That's why they paid him, because they rely a lot on him.
Just like Jared Goff does with us, you know, and I feel like Ben Johnson helps Jared Goff out a lot because in the games that they're just totally dominating, you don't have to have Jared Goff throw 30 plus times.
No.
You know what I mean? And, you know, it's hard to say that if Jordan Love just goes down, that their team would just be bad, because I still think that they got good players over there that they can win with. Now, will they win the Super Bowl? Highly unlikely. Will they win the NFC? Highly unlikely. You know,
if
you'd be able to go.
If they believe so much in Willis, he would be playing today and not Love. I truly
believe. I was gonna say
if they believe so much in Willis, they would have played him today.
No, Love gives you a way better opportunity because of the caliber of player he is.
That's why you pay him that big money.
Yeah, because when he's healthy and on, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
To Nate's point, the reason why they did pay him that money at the time, they had Clifford as a backup.
Yeah,
they didn't have Malik Willis at the time. So yeah, they just said, "Oh shit, fuck this. We're paying him because we ain't got no quarterback.
Yep.
We don't. We ain't got a little bit of a quarterback." So
I just look at it this way: when you're talking about a quarterback success, you have to have either a good line, you have to either have good receivers, you have to have a good back, you have to have a good OC. No quarterback can survive with any of that without any of that stuff, you know. And the thing is that. All I'm saying with Love is, like, y'all expecting Love to do more than we expect from Goff. All we expect Goff to do is not fuck up. Hold on to the football, don't turn over the ball, and give the ball to the damn backs. That's all we expect Goff to do. Y'all need Love to be the savior. Because if Love's not the savior, then y'all are just a mid-team with Willis. It's just that simple.
But you just made the point about Goff. And that's the whole thing. I mean, if Goff goes down, that'll be fucking horrific. All right.
Yeah.
But will I be if Hendon Hooker comes in there and plays within what Hendon Hooker can do?
Hendon Hooker is getting keys to a fucking great offense.
The offense is gonna take a step down. It might take a small step down because he doesn't have the experience with that offense.
Ben Johnson will adjust the offense to a certain,
But Ben Johnson, because he's a running quarterback. He runs more so than Jordan Love does. So I mean, it depends on your offensive set. See, if you got like when we had Matt Stafford, no, they didn't build anything around him because he was fucking rocking it. Yeah, and we sucked.
But that's
because we had the offensive line. he had one good team, man. One
it
good
wasn't like
team.
his team were just like
One good
all
team,
pro,
man. Out of
but-
12
They never
years
had
he
a.
was
They never
there,
had
he
a. They
one
never
good
had a
team.
defense. They never had a defense.
They had no defense. Well, they had 1 year, good year defense.
1 year.
The point I'm trying to make is, though, Stafford is the guy that will get the shit done. And this is the same kind of guy that Jordan Love is. Okay. He's out there to get, if shit falls apart around him, you depend on him to get it done. Goff is not that type of guy. You don't want shit to fall apart around him. Why do you think the Lions' offense is so explosive right now? They're going to come out and punch you in the mouth.
But he's won games in shootouts.
Because they
Steve, but I
got
get what
to.
you're saying.
But they got to win. They got to win, and they got to win early. That's what the Lions do. That's why they come out and punch you in the mouth, because they want you to, after you punch you in the mouth a couple of times, like they did Tennessee after they scored 14 points on us, and they came back. Okay, fuck you. We're gonna do all this shit. It's like we did against Dallas. It's the same thing.
It's because everybody shit on the Lions for so many years, and all of a sudden now the Lions are kicking back and kicking ass. It's like, oh, it's disrespectful. Oh, it's embarrassing. Which leads to my next point. What the hell is Xavier McKinney talking about? Please defend him on this, please. I never heard of the most
absolutely. If you
never
don't
heard
have,
of the most asinizing comment in my life.
if you don't have your player out there saying that we're not going to be out there letting us get embarrassed like they've been out there embarrassing other teams, I think your defensive player has a major knock against them if they're not talking like that. I want my defensive leader out there saying that, oh, we don't appreciate that shit and we're not going to let them do it.
He literally said it was, but that's not what he said. He literally said it's embarrassing how they're going out there and beating up other teams.
He said that they're embarrassing other teams.
Yeah, he said they're trying to embarrass.
Who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck?
I think the thing that I find wrong about what Xavier said, though, is that, dude, nobody thinks that Detroit's going to come in here and embarrass Green Bay. It ain't even. It's a division game.
But
it's in Green Bay. Well, I don't see that happening. Sorry. It's just like Minnesota. It's like Minnesota. Same situation.
Yeah, it's on the road. If it was in our house,
it's on the road. You can't say that either. But anyway, the point of the matter is because every team in our division is strong. Although Chicago's a fake strong. But Green Bay and Minnesota are legit contenders in our division, and you have to respect that. And I think that's not the message Dan Campbell's giving to the Lions right now, saying, "Oh, we're gonna go in Green Bay and whoop their ass." No, the hell, that's not what he's saying. He's telling everybody Green Bay is a good ass team. Yeah, they're up there for a reason, just like Minnesota's like that.
They're 6-1.
Like I don't like the Packers like they don't like the Lions, man. But the Packers are a formidable opponent for
a legitimate team, just like
Philadelphia.
I just don't understand why it matters if we're embarrassing other teams. Who gives a shit? If you're on the Lions, you're not saying nothing.
This is what I'm saying. I mean, Xavier McKinney is just. He's trying to be a supporter for his teammate, but he's talking out his ass. I didn't agree with the comment he was saying to do, but at the same time, he was trying to be strong for the team and talking shit.
He's you guys poking your chest out, and he's poking his out back.
Yeah,
but see, the point of the matter is, though, we've had a safety that did that last year, and we got our ass kicked a couple of times because of his big ass fucking mouth. And stop doing it. I hate when safeties do shit like that, even when it's our own safeties, Ken.
You're giving bulletin board material to a team that's
bulletin board material, like that damn blue ski mask shit against Seattle. I did not like that at all, dude. Shut the fuck up. Go out there and play. You just got on this team. Shut up. And that's the same thing with Xavier McKinney. McKinney's pulling a Gardner. That's what he's doing. And I hope it doesn't work against him. But at the same time, you got to watch that. I would be like, hey, dude, calm that shit down, man. This is division rivals. We're going to take care of business. We ain't got to worry about getting blown out. We ain't getting blown out.
Hey, we're gonna hold our own.
We might win this damn game. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah. That's what I think was McKinney's way of saying that, is we're not going to be getting blown out and embarrassed like they have other teams.
I wouldn't even have said that, man. Just go play the game.
Oh, see,
all right.
I like when my guys sit there and jaw jack. That's why I love Alexander.
Well, better walk the. If you walk the walk, talk the talk. You better walk the walk.
Yep, absolutely. That's
CJ Johnson, because he did that in the Niners game. Wait, bye. Yeah, that was the biggest dumbass move.
He wasn't even playing good in that game anyway.
Yeah,
I'm glad his ass is gone.
Hopefully McKinney digged himself a grave. All right. So we're going to get to the big part, the predictions. So we all know where everybody's going. I don't know, Jay, you might be on the fence about this one.
Well, I give you my
So
really quickly. Let me tell you.
be honest. Be honest with your prediction. Don't say it with your chest.
I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I think you're going to see a lot of running the ball. I think you're going to see a lot of lateral passes from both sides. Hey, keep it away from the interior D lineman and from the edge rusher. So you're going to see a lot of screen play, a little bit of slants. I think this is going to be like a 23-20 type game, but give me the Lions to edge it out. I think they know how important this game is. If you want to be able to keep the divisional lead, you have to be able to go on the road in at least two divisional opponents' houses and win. Give me the Lions 23-20.
B, go ahead.
All right, I got them winning 26-20, and I reduced that from my 30-24 prediction because
I didn't know.
Raining outside.
Rain.
That's a little bit too much weather for
Mhm.
offenses. So I went down to 26. Although I would not be surprised if a field goal wins this game from either side.
That's what I'm expecting.
Two new kickers. Who do you believe more in?
What's your kickers percentage in field goals right now?
Right now, he's 100% since he signed with the team.
Yeah.
So is our kicker.
He's a good kicker. I don't know what happened with this whole assault thing.
Yeah,
but,
a lot of that
exonerated.
Blown out.
Yeah, he's a good kicker. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, he's a good kicker.
He's a hell of a lot better than the moron we had back there. We had Stevie Wonder kicking the football for us.
Wasn't that your rookie kicker?
No, he was on the Titans for a
while. Brandon Narvison is the guy, and I think he was a rookie, but they're the ones that drafted him. He was great on extra points, couldn't kick a field goal to save his life.
I like Titan players a lot.
Hey, why not poach them from a team that's not using them?
Hey,
right,
fellas,
there you go.
I take Jeffrey Simmons.
I'm out there. Go Lions.
Yeah. All right, bud.
We're all
And
Take
it
it
was
easy.
nice meeting
Yeah, nice meeting you too, buddy.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, so I'm left. Yeah, that rain game really kind of weighed my took my final prediction out. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a low scoring game. I'm gonna say 27-24. I do think it's gonna be about a 3-point game, and I'll throw one caveat out there that Terrion Arnold gets the game-winning interception. Hasn't had one all year.
That one.
Oh,
You're going out on the limb on that one.
I'm going to say
Brandon
McManus's streak of game-winning field goals to end out the game is going to continue this week.
Yeah. I mean, it probably is going to come to a close game.
Yep.
But I do think that, we talk about Stafford, we talk about Mahomes, we talk about Love. They all have one common denominator in with all of them. They all like to throw balls in harm's way. Some like to make the catches, some throw picks. And I think that if Love wants to air it out there, I think one of our guys are going to take it down, because if you throw anywhere around BB, you throw anywhere around Joseph, that ball ain't going back to y'all. Like, they're going to take it down, and hopefully they can take it to the score. Because one thing that these two guys have that I haven't seen a lot in safeties is instincts. Like, they jump routes. Like, they literally read the quarterback's eyes and jump it. And so if Love can put up a couple of balls, which I know he will. I mean, I know Love wants to throw the ball deep. That's just what he likes to do. And he knows that the Lions like to hold. So it's going to be a give and take situation. So I definitely think that if he can get some balls in the air, we can definitely take some down. So, yeah.
I think, though, that the game is going to precedent the weather outside is going to precedent what's going on in the game. I don't think Jordan Love is going to be doing exactly that. I think both him and Goff are going to be playing that short game, and I really think that if there are any turnovers that happen in this game, it'll be because of the wet ball, somebody punching it out. It's going to be a fumble for a recovery, not a interception. I don't think there's going to be any interception in this game. I tell you,
you don't think so at all?
I think the game is going to be too short. I think both these teams know how important this game is, and they're not going to put their quarterbacks in harm's way with it, especially with Jordan Love and his groin issue. So they're not going to overexert him in trying to make throws downfield. in that wet grass. I don't think he's going to do that.
And I kind of agree with you, B. I mean, it just depends on how bad the wind is at the game time. They said about 30 mile per hour winds. If it's 30 mile per hour winds, then yes, I agree with you. There probably won't be a lot of shots taken. But if it dials down to like maybe 10 or 15 miles per hour, I don't know. I just think Love is one of those guys that just takes shots.
Yeah. I'm even if it's 30, I still expect him to take 1 or 2 shots deep down the field.
That's what I'm saying, because like you got to think about it. And this is what I don't understand why more offenses not done this with the Lions. You have a rookie cornerback and you have Carlton Davis, who at times can play well and at times can play like ass. You have 2 elite safeties, but you have 2 cornerbacks that are not the greatest right now. Like, why don't you take more shots against those guys? Because you know they're going to grab and you know they're going to hold. And we're also playing in Green Bay where y'all get the calls all the freaking time.
I don't think it matters if we were playing.
You're falsifying the defense. You're falsifying the defense. The corners have actually played really well in the last 2 games. They've been playing.
But I mean, but like what offensively, like the Titans.
It don't make a difference, dude. They've still been playing good. They make timely stops when they need to. Yeah,
we're not talking about
Ridley. Ridley was
about
killing us.
Shots.
It don't make a difference. They've taken shots. Shit, Dallas took shots against us.
But I'm just saying, when we saw the Titans game last week, you saw the shots they were taking with Akina and all these other fuckers.
And you notice that the covers they're playing zone too. And they really weren't taking Titans seriously offensively, to tell you the truth. Yeah. They had so much zone in that damn game, it wasn't even.
I was going to say, with how bad they are, it's like one of us lining up against a toddler to play cornerback. We're going to look
bad. So do you expect the Lions to play more zone or man today?
I would think they would play a combination of both, most likely zone because it's wet. I think Packers are going to do the same thing too. I think zone coverage is just going to be, because you got to cover parts of the field. Playing man coverage is hard enough without it being weather conditions. Okay, right. When you're playing weather conditions, you shouldn't be playing man. This is one time that I would allot AG use your zone effectively. Let the ball stay in front of you. Don't let it get past you, because we do have good corners and good safeties, but shit. If you got receivers, nobody's stopping a receiver that's running a 4-4 coming down the field streaking. You know what I'm saying, on wet grass. Nobody's gonna be able to stop on a dime and back paddle. But you know what I'm saying.
That's funny you say that, because like if we play zone, doesn't that really put a lot of pressure on our pass rush to get to the quarterback?
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be up there to stop the run, though.
True.
So, you got to do that. Sometimes they'll drop a safety. I'm sure they're going to drop Xavier in there, just like we're going to drop Brian Branch or Kirby in there to stop the run, or play that mid safety role that you have to play during those. I'm telling you, the weather changes how you play defense.
Sure, no doubt. It changes how you play the game. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. We could talk a lot of shit. We could say this is going to be a low scoring game. But because of the way the weather is, you don't know how these offensive coordinators are going to work either, because they already know the defense has to change their game because of the weather. If any of the both the offensive coordinators get a feather in their ass, this could be a 45-42 game. You never know.
That's why I'm saying I'm expecting some deep shots down the field.
Oh, I know for a fact that they're going to take shots at our secondary. I know for a fact. They do it every time we play. Remember the Thanksgiving game? One of the first plays, they took a shot right down the field with Christian Watson, down the field on our cornerbacks. Like I almost guarantee they will. The problem is that can our guys be in place or have a safety help to pick that ball off, because Jordan will let it float. But I think honestly, whoever runs the ball the best will win this game, because the fact is that none of these running backs have played outside, really consistently.
Our running backs.
Jacobs hasn't either. Jacobs played in Vegas. He played under dome. Recently, yeah.
Yeah.
But they didn't play in a lot of wet games. What I'm trying to say. So the rain will affect both running backs and how they cut and how they run. And so whichever line can plug up or make the most holes and the running backs can have the best vision will factor. I think this is definitely going to be a Monty game.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't-
what I was about to say too. That
Yeah,
I think
I don't
Monty's
think Gibbs is going to be
this
able to be as effective because he needs that cut speed and all that stuff. You know, I would try to put Gibbs in like a screenplay or something like that. So if you're listening, Ben, put him in a screenplay because you put him in space, ain't nobody coming down and taking that guy out. So yeah, it should be a good. It should be a good game. You know, it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of matchups. There's a lot of things to look at. I personally think, like I said, the Lions just keep doing what they're doing, play their game, don't turn over the ball, run the ball down y'all's throats. I think there's no way y'all win, in my opinion. So,
well, that's why this is going to be a great game. We get to find out who's right.
Yeah,
Right.
and then you get the bragging rights till the next game.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Real quick, Ken, thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate you coming into the den with us. You're welcome back when we play y'all again. Real quick, plug your show one more time, and then me and B will wrap it up.
You can find me every morning at 10 a.m. Central with Ken and Ken in the morning, or on Sundays, the Red Zone Rant. And then Friday nights at 7 p.m. Central, it's the Frozen Tundra Network.
Sweet. All right, man. Well,
right.
Thank you for coming on. And
thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks, Ken, man.
good luck.
Appreciate you, brother.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you guys have good luck too. Hopefully we have a good, healthy game.
Yes. Yeah, that's the most important part too. We have to emphasize,
especially with raining games. Yeah, we want to clean.
Raining games are real bad for injuries too. Not that normal games ain't, but yeah, rain helps a lot.
Yep.
So hopefully everybody comes out healthy.
All right, Ken. Take it easy, man.
Yeah, I'll see you.
All right, buddy.
All right, B. That was fun.
Yeah. I tell you, I don't bring anybody on here that's a homer. Okay, in a sense. All right. I like opponent fans that are intelligent about their team. You know, like
he made some good points.
Yeah. You know, like we have Mike. I still think he kind of.
I still think that he kind of supports most of the narratives that I hear out there from Whacker fans about their team, but. Yeah, he gave some perspective in some aspects, you know. Yeah, this game, man, you know, I kind of wish it was going on right now. I don't want to wait till 4:00 because I feel like my anxiety kicks in higher as the game gets later in the night, you know. But yeah, man, I mean, it's going to be tough. There's no doubt, you know, with the weather. I actually saw that the Packers have the 10th ranked rush defense. That's going to be interesting. So.
Yeah, they haven't. You know, I looked back at the team that we played commonly, which was Minnesota. We both gave up 93 yards to Aaron Jones, so there's nothing to drop off there. It did take him more attempts to get there. It took him 14 attempts to get to 93 on our side, but 22 on their side. So I mean, again, I don't think that. A lot of teams understand the offense that Detroit brings in. You know, they can say, oh, numbers don't tell you the whole story. I keep trying to tell you, the offense is, if it's clicking, nobody's stopping that offense. Nobody's going to stop that offense.
I agree.
The only thing that can stop that offense really right now is the weather. And
that's the main factor. If this was a clean game and not weather-wise, I would say the Lions I would feel so much more confident about the Lions.
Ben,
now that it's 30-degree temperatures and a lot of rain.
I have faith that Ben is going to call a good game with the weather, knowing what the weather is going to be. And I'm sure he's playing. I mean, he can make short passes. It just not necessarily has to come off the ground. You know how he does in the first quarter. So most of the times he passes first, just to see what the coverage is.
Didn't it rain the last game they played in Lambeau? I thought at times. No? Okay. Okay, I thought it did.
It wasn't even cold, and we got them early in the year. And it was kind of warm. Yeah. And then the last game we played when it was cold outside was the game that the Lions took out Aaron Rodgers, and that was his last game at Green Bay. And we took him out of playoff contention. And that was a cold day. That was cold.
I remember that game.
But you know, like I said, this is what I guess Dan Campbell will have these guys ready. Like I said, if they lose, it's going to probably be something that the Lions have done and shot themselves in the foot. Because I'm telling you right now, they don't make that many errors. They don't go out there looking to. They're not. This is what I'm trying to tell Jay about the same old Lions. The same old Lions is when you say that kind of stuff. Oh, we need this guy or we need that guy. No, have faith in what Brad Holmes is doing, because Brad Holmes knows what he's doing. We've gotten better every freaking year since he's been here. Every freaking year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we started off 6-1. We haven't been 6-1 since 1956. So,
I will say this. I will say this too. If you're talking about comparison with the Vikings game, Darnold threw like 3 picks in that game. They even fumbled a punt return. So, I mean, they pretty much allowed Green Bay to come back in that game. The Vikings had that team for dead. They were gone. And that's with Love. They look like ass. You know, so, but the only reason why the Packers got back in that game was because of the turnovers that the Vikings created on themselves. One was in the red zone. One was a fumble on a punt return. I think another one was another pick. So if the Lions can play a clean game, as clean as possible, or at least win the turnover battle, and just run the ball down their throats, I don't see them winning. I really don't, because we're built for that type of weather. We just got to not turn over the ball.
Yeah, see, and again, the difference in those two games too is going to be the weather. Where it was sunny, it was sunny in Green Bay when they played. So,
the emphasis has got to be more on the ball protection when you have weather.
Oh yeah,
and Dan said himself.
Yeah, and I mean, Minnesota was killing them at first because they took to the air. That was another game Jair Alexander wasn't playing, if you remember. Jair Alexander didn't play that game. So they took to the air on him.
Oh, wow.
No,
okay.
He didn't play that game.
Gotcha.
But they went to the air immediately, as a matter of fact, Minnesota did. And of course, when you got Randy Moss, when you got Justin Jefferson, Randy Moss, Justin Jefferson, hello.
Yeah.
But no, if you got Justin Jefferson, I mean, a lot of coverages are incomplete, basically. But like I said, the statistics I get from each of those games, that's what they are, statistics. What actually comes down to playing in the different weather is going to be a whole different. You can throw statistics out the window then, because it's going to be a whole different offensive and defensive calling that's going to be out there because of the rain. Yeah. So, but it's going to be a good game. It's going to be muddy. Going to be like one of them throwback games that you got to see back in the 90s and the 80s when they were all out there playing in the weather like that. Hopefully there's no lightning.
I think, I think one thing also too I want to just throw out there real quick is that Jeremy B had said that looks like Bullard will probably be playing in place of Williams. So a rookie safety who is known as a big hitter, but can he cover? That's going to be the key. And I guarantee you Goff will look for him all day around.
And that's what I'm saying. I mean, depending on how coy both the offensive coordinators are, Ben Johnson don't give a damn. He went out there and ran up the score, and I don't give a fuck if he did or not. He went out there and killed Dallas. He made his personal mission. Yeah. Personal mission, and whatever. Anyway, he is a personal mission to kill Dallas, so he did that. And Tennessee was no different, but he didn't really have to work so hard against Tennessee because the special teams did all the work for him, and the turnovers and stuff like that. So, and against Minnesota, I mean, he knew what Minnesota was bringing. Like I said, Ben Johnson is an artist. He is going to paint that picture the way you are painting yours and make it better. That's the point that I'm trying to make with the offense. The defense is shaky. We don't have Hutchinson. Our secondary is a little light in the toes because of the corners that aren't playing all the way up to par, but they have been playing better as of recently.
That's what I'm saying. You might have to blitz. You might have to blitz Love more because test that groin out.
Ain't nobody touching the safeties. Don't if Green Bay's getting touchdowns, they're not throwing them into the end zone. I'm going to tell you that right now. They're going to be throwing them on the 30-yard line, hoping they can run it in from there, because in the red zone, ain't nobody getting shit on. The Lions are one of the best red zone defensive teams in the NFL. So
what a switch that was too, because after that Bucks game, we couldn't score in the red zone and we couldn't defend the red zone.
The Tampa Bay game turned a lot of stuff around. I think Ben Johnson decided, you know what? I'm not experimenting anymore with this shit. I'm just doing what the hell
cute, man. Just hand the ball to the Knuckles and Sonic. That's all.
Yeah, 55 attempts. Could have been 58, but Goff caught out of 3 of them. So it could have been 58 fast attempts. So whatever. They'll be all right.
All right. Well, on that note, hey, man, let's enjoy this game today. Win or lose, we will be back next Sunday to talk about the Texans and hopefully talk about a dub, man, because if we win this game, that's 2 big games against 2 of our biggest rivals in this division. And they got to come back to our house at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I'm liking that feeling. So
I think that's what Dan Campbell likes about this whole situation too. Like I said, if we win this game at Green Bay, we beat 2 divisional opponents that are good, really good. At
you beat them on the road. Yeah,
you beat them on the road, so they got to come here, and they're going to be desperate at that point because you would start losing in your division. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to start getting wins to even make yourself relevant back in the playoff.
That's why. Like I said, I think this win is important as far as the bigger picture for us. But I think it means more to the Packers because they want to get back on top. They don't want to keep playing behind with us, and they know that if they win this game, they're up top for a week. And then who knows what happens next week. If they lose, we win, whatever it is. And then, we'll play roulette the whole rest of the season.
There's anybody that's watching, Olave just got creamed and he carting him off.
Oh, dang. I'm watching the Falcons.
So.
Not good.
So, not good for Olave. Nope. He got creamed too. And the player that hit him, he did leave with his helmet, and he did get called for it. So
yeah, not good for the Saints either because if they lose Olave, they're already struggling, and guy to look out for Chase Young or Marcus Lattimore very well could be on the trading block. So we'll see what happens. But all right, B, we've been on the show for a minute, man. Enjoyed having Ken on the show. It was great. Jay, always good to see him. Hey, man, let's go get the dub. Let's do our thing. Let's play our game and enjoy.
Yes, sir. Let's do this.
All right, buddy.
Peace out, everybody.
Fuck the Bears. Fuck the Packers. Fuck the Vikings. Go Lions. We're out.
There you go.
We some lions, don't let the boys get loose. About to play with our food any day that we choose. We some lions, got them all listening. Time to make history, I want a victory. Lions, don't let the boys get loose. About to play with our food any day that we choose. We some lions, got them all listening. Time to make history,